There's no full screen option.
Got it. I'll just stop the recording, I guess. And wait, give me a minute.
But the recording stopped, but it's live streaming.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So this is a blockchain-based framework for a decentralized housing operation. We have a big why here, and there are three of them. Its first one is the housing crisis. 3 billion people will need new homes by 2050, but only 7% of adults have access to formal housing finance. And we also have the environmental crisis. Even with the building being responsible for 50% of all extracted material on Earth, we don't use the built environment in its full capacity. So just as a reference data, 24% of housing units are empty in São Paulo today. We should not only build greener. I really believe we should build better, build to suit and ready to use with assured quality. That's why I thought about Dao-Re. That means a decentralized autonomous organization for the real estate industry. A DAO, as you know, is a company that belongs to no one and to everyone in the same time. It's a process based on the blockchain reliability, and I'm going to explain very quickly how we can be an answer for those problems. So to get there, I'm going to present to you Sophie. She is looking for an apartment to buy with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and let's say an open living, but she wants it to be located in this exactly neighborhood. Also, she needs a car and bike space. She's a woodworker, so she needs some space for that. And she has this amount of money to pay for this house. And just like her, many others have their wishes and they would fill their information at Dao-Re's platform. Now, Dao-Re knows the people, their perfect home and their perfect location. On another layer of Dao-Re, landowners can register their available lands and prices, and after some iterations, we have a match. Their wishes, let's say Sophie, Ben, and Julia, match an adequate amount of area for one of the lands registered in Dao-Re. And now it's time to call another layer of Dao-Re, a technical team that will develop a proposition for the common area, the envelope of the building. They will design the infrastructure and present it for the final users. Let's say these 3 guys liked it and now they want to live there. How they're going to hire and pay for modular factory, land, technical team, and contractor. So I believe the most effective and safe way to do so is through smart contracts. For that to work, they need a crypto coin related to those contracts. And now you are probably more aware of that than me, but smart contracts are a collection of codes, its functions and data, its state that resides at a specific address on a blockchain, such as Ethereum or Solana. And they can define rules like a regular contract and automatically enforce them by code. And being registered in a blockchain makes the whole process public, decentralized, and permanent for the whole building life cycle, and very reliable. In order to make all this possible, you need a DAO. Dao-Re was created for this. It establishes the smart contracts, exchanges, members, responsibilities, all the rules. And I created, in the end, created Dao-Re in the Solana blockchain. And what I picked Solana because it's much cheaper, as you know, but it was actually very simple to create it, and I'm going to show you how in a few minutes. Now there's also someone else very important for the real estate industry, which is Anna. She wants to invest money on it, so she buys tokens from Dao-Re. It's Bitcoin. I called it Bitcoin just for a fun fact. A cryptocurrency launched by Dao-Re and to be the exchange currency of the whole environment. Anna bought it, let's say, in the initial coin offer. Since she bought it, Bitcoin gained value. Why did that happen? Based on the expectation of demand growth for Bitcoin from the Dao-Re environment. And what is this whole environment that leans on Bitcoin, therefore makes a recurrent demand for it? Basically, Dao-Re environment is made of 8 layers. The final users, who you know already, they see only a front-end interface and they fill in the wishes. You know that we have the investors, they buy token, expecting valorization and recurrent payments. We have the landowners who register the land as a non-fungible token online and they receive
Oops, we lost her, I guess.
Yeah, she took a pause.
I've never seen her like that. But definitely this is something interesting, like it's talking about a different value chain that can come up.
Yeah,
Real estate.
this
What
can
do you guys
definitely be pitched. Bobby, oh, you're frozen.
Please finish. I'm all curious.
Yeah, she left us hanging.
Hi.
Bobby, you were frozen.
Where did I freeze?
Landlord.
The ICO,
Landlord.
Buffett, and land. Yeah.
The 8 points.
Okay. So I talked about all these 4 layers.
No.
You were at the landlord part.
Okay, so the landlord.
You have to share the screen.
Yes, they. Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry. Share screen. Sorry for that. We're trying to change the word, but the internet is not helping.
Yeah, it's building. It's building. Coming.
It's coming.
So would you
Okay.
like to go full screen now? It's okay like that.
Yeah, I tried, but I did not find it in. Do you know what is the? I tried F11 and it's not working. You know which
You can
one
go
would be?
to yeah, there's a button on the. Oh, now if you go to the Google Doc, like get out of the slides.
Found it. Okay.
Okay.
Working?
F11.
Can you see now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried F11, but it didn't work. I don't know why. Okay, so we have the landowners, and I kept thinking, why would they say, okay, here's my land, I have it, try to sell it for someone, and it was more or less around the time that the DeFi's started creating staking with some things and with NFTs, and people started receiving money for staking. And then I thought, okay, it's a perfect match. So instead of they trying to sell their lands on internet or for someone, they could stake their lands as NFTs in the website and receive tokens while we wouldn't match their lands with someone. And for that, they would be like creating a contract and locking their land for the Dao-Re development. And we have the Dao-Re developer team, which are responsible for creating and publish the DAO at the Solana protocol, the ICO, the IT, user interface, market improvement, etc. And then we have the more hands-on layers, which are modular unit factor. So they produce the modular units for the housing buildings, transport and assembles it in place. The local contractor who prepares the terrain for the building assemblage and do the whole infrastructure. We have the technical team, which I believe could be ArchiDAO. Once the algorithm finds a match, a team is chosen to design the common area, approve the documents at the city, and register the land purchase. And we have the auditors layer, who would attest veracity and quality for each phase. So that's it. This is the whole environment, and it runs on smart contracts with Bitcoin transactions. And there's a lot more to happen in each of these layers. But for now, considering the stage of development, the most important part is that it can be a real life business based on technology, providing safe and adequate homes with financial support transforming wishes in reality in a very short window of time, while connecting all these layers who wouldn't find each other if it wasn't like that. Okay, so that's it. I'm just gonna show you very quickly how I created the DAO on the Solana blockchain. I just used the Squads platform, which is a bridge for creating DAOs without code. They create DAOs in the Solana blockchain. You have to connect your wallet with some crypto on it, in this case Solana, and fill in some info on the DAO. Define the voting rules, the very basic unchangeable rules, the amount of existing tokens, add any other members, pay a small fee, and you have a DAO. And after that, you have to create all your rules. Like some of the rules that I would really appreciate if Dao-Re could create would be first, housing unit quality. That would be an opportunity to establish some standards, minimum standards, infrastructure quality, environmental efficiency. Let's say Dao-Re would only construct a building if it would achieve this type of environmental efficiency. Ensure that everything would be a legalized process. Define the payment methods for purchase and rent, the return for investors, return for landowners via non-fungible token, staking, and just like that. Okay, so now I'm just showing you a bit about the case study to explain in more technical details how the matchmaking process can work. In my imagination, this part of the process should work with minimal human involvement to cost as little as possible, thinking that can be thousands of requests without any payment or just a little small fee as down payment. So let's say we just release it to the world. People from all over the world can join in and say, okay, I have a wish, I want this house and I want to pay this, and we have to be able to deal with this data, at least to get somewhere. So this is the algorithm that we are thinking that could be developed in the hackathon, could be deeper developed. You remember we had a match for Sophie, Julie, and Ben, and Sophie was looking for this kind of stuff. So how did she tell us that? So she entered this website, pinpointed the locations where she wants to live, and also she defined other details for the wish list, such as the zip codes that she wants, the common area program, condominium qualities, external materials, facade qualities, circulation needs, building MEP systems, desired floor levels, money, how much she wants to pay for this, and also things that she rejects. So let's say I don't like green. I would appreciate any color of building, but green building is not a possibility. So she wouldn't be a match of someone who wants green only. Just like that, simply like that, putting in this this example. So all this data is gathered in a graph database running on Neo4j, for example, where we can use Cypher to query for the match. And this is the phase one match. So here, looking just to the zip codes, let's say that we know that Sophie, Ben, and Jeff want all to live in this same zip code, but this would have to happen with all the qualities of the building. And we could also say, okay, you are 80% a match with these people. Do you want to live with them? Do you want to construct a building with them? And this is, then all this data is gathered in this crazy graph node.
Beautiful graph.
Yeah, it's a GIF. It should be running, but I don't know why it's not. Maybe without the full screen it will. Okay, but it just shows the Neo4j ability to present this very easy way to understand big data together. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so unfortunately it's not going to show, but you know Neo4j, graph database and this kind of stuff, and they show all these nodes and you just cipher one and they show the rest. It's very nice. It's a nice way to understand things. And it could be done automatically, not necessarily with human interface. Oh, that's it. This is a mock-up of data that I did pretty fast. I created something random to see what would look like. So we would have to build an algorithm to query this type of data. And this would be the phase 1 match. Okay, so after that, all house units that share a compatible pattern of wishes have to be tested in the matching land and buildable area. So to check how many of the apartments that want to be joined together can be gathered there, and what could be the basic arrangement, thinking of a modular building. Let me just explain you quickly why I'm talking about modular construction, because I don't see any way of doing this without basic constraints, and modular construction are very fast and they have very, very clear constraints. So it would be easy to create like a shape grammar catalog of possibilities and create automatically the floor plans that people would like to see. Okay, so then the match is done. So I will show you how I created this, but it's basically a multi-level hierarchical aggregation with adjacencies based on a fitness function score defined by these adjacencies and position of rooms and shafts. If Richa fell, are we still sharing live screen?
Yeah, it's still live. I don't know what happened to
Okay,
Richard,
perfect.
but
Okay,
yeah.
no problem. All right, so we know that, let's say, after all these iterations, we know that this one is the best one according to this basic rules. So we have the minimum common area, circulation area, we have the minimum cliff hangs, so minimum area losses. And this is the chosen automatically best scored positioning of the apartments. Okay, so, but we went too fast and we left aside the part of where Sophie defines the actual floor plan of her home. So she decided her rooms, sizes, relationships, and eventually she also customized the whole interior. And we're gonna get there later. The floor plan generator is based on these constraints from the factory for a viable modular project. And it's simply like, there are some simple knowledge for modular construction with metallic chassis structure, which is up to 5 floor. We would have like a 15 per 15 centimeters metallic bars for the chassis. And it could go like from 4 meters to 15 meters long and follow these restrictions from sizes. And we have a big restrictions, which is the wet area must be inside one single module. So a little bit of a shape grammar. We started from the restriction of the toilets, and I took in consideration Brazilian legislation. It might be a challenge to do it with global legislation, but then we have a catalog.
Is this IBC? Did you use the IBC, like the International Building Code, or is it just like
No, I just
local,
used
so-
Brazilian. Yeah, but we could do it with international. Maybe it would cover everything. I did not think of that, but that might be a good idea. And
yeah, because we use. I was gonna say we use. I worked on like international projects and local projects in the States, and like one way that we handle all the projects now is like we just use the International Building Code, and that gives a pretty good basis.
Cool. That could be a way to avoid this kind of having to recreate this catalog for each country, right? It would be a mess. If we have one single ideal way to walk, would be much better. But as you can see, we have here the possibilities of small toilets, medium toilets, and large toilets. So she would pick, I want a large toilet, or I want an accessible toilet, I want a small toilet. And she would build this based on this interaction, like very natural language interaction. I really believe that understanding all this and looking at all this for a final user can be a bit overwhelming. So I created a tree of decisions that can take the final user through these decisions to in order that she could reach the final floor plan without having to look at all these options, because it would be a mess if we would send Sophie all this toilet floor plans and she would have to decide which one she wants. I really think that people should should follow a sequence of decisions and like based on natural language steps, and we would only present her in the end the final options that matches the most her ideas, and she would pick one. Okay, so with considering this type of division that I created, we have like 2,100 floor plan variations. It seems like something we can do, and this catalog of course can grow in case of any demand, but anyway, that's I can also show you later the tree of decisions. Okay, but in the end, let's say that Sophie said what she wanted and she is presented these 5 solutions and she picked one. And let's say she picked this one, and this is the modular splitting of the apartment. So we know that she would need 3 separated modules for her unit. And then we would go, okay, we have her apartment, we have Ben's apartment and Jeff's apartment, if I'm not wrong. And we have to try to match them all. So I ran this mockup using WASP. And after that, I try, of course, to maximize the apartment area, minimize the core volume, minimize cliffhanging, check for clashes between bounding box and buildable area. So we cannot go up than this amount of meters. We cannot go larger than this. And then I used the Wallacey to try to score it and pick the preferable one. And remember that Sophie still has to customize the whole interior. I really believe that this part is important for 2 main reasons. Every process made in the industry is much better controlled and has a better quality. And if you don't deliver the place ready to live, it's such a pain to get through a customization. In Brazil, people spend as much as 30% in customs. And a considerable part of it is by taking down and throwing away things that the builder is obligated to deliver, but the user eventually doesn't want. So if the idea is that there's also this mockup that I created using Unreal, which is a gamified mass customization platform. The user, after everything is matched, okay, you know, this is your building. You chose this apartment. We know how to fund your apartment. We have this factory that's going to build it for you. Now you can pick and choose everything from curtains to furniture and colors and finishes and every material. It's basically a game that can work on the web or an app, something like this, and it's very simple for architects or someone who has a basic Unreal knowledge to create and customize. And let's say, okay, so I created this in Unreal using this Archivist interactive UI package, and it could be possibly web emulated. All right, and I also created a mock-up for the investors website. Just continue the next step, because there are many layers for this whole DAO, right? We have to have an interface for the investor, an interface for the industry, an interface for the final user. That's why it's so complicated, because there are many people and many layers involved. But that's it. I can also show you the website I created. That's the whole idea, and that's the level I reached during the 1 month thesis development. It was crazy to get from I don't know what a DAO is to that's my idea of how these things should work.
You build a pitch, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I had to build something for the thesis, and in the end, it wasn't okay. I'm gonna stop the live. Can I stop the live screen? The live sharing?
Yeah, you can stop. I don't know.
Okay, I can stop.
I don't know.
I'm the host.